before we start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Amit, and I'll be an instructor for the Power BI and doing data modeling with the help of Power BI. So I come with more than 10 years of experience of working into BI and data science, having my expertise on the tools like Tableau, Power BI, Python, SQL, etc. And it's almost a decade now, that I've been training the universities and corporates for all these data science skills. So welcome you all to this Power BI data modeling sessions. So guys, we will try to keep this topic to be very hands-on and also something, uh, more interactive. So whatever thoughts you have, whatever questions you feel like, please feel free to ask them. Any point, you can just pause me and ask your questions right away. All right. So guys, if I ask you, all right, see data modeling as a topic, then when we talk about, see data modeling is a topic of databases, right? So if I ask you guys, what exactly you all understand by data modeling? What exactly is it all about? When we talk about data modeling now, it's more about how we manage and store the data, right? It's more about how we manage and store the data, right? That's something which we call it as data modeling, right? It's a database concept. So now to understand it better, suppose I have an Excel file with me. I'll take the example with the help of an Excel. Just open the Excel. All right. See now, for example, I work for a e-commerce store. And now whenever I sell any of the orders, this is the data that is generated. See, there is order ID, date, customer ID, customer name, address of the customer, product ID, product name, sales, customer ID, supplier ID, supplier name. So whenever I sell any of the orders, suppose I sold order number 1 on date this, right? Customer ID was C1, his name is Sam, he lives on lane 1, right? Product ID is P1, product name is iPhone, sale is suppose 30,000, supplier ID is S1 and ABC Mobiles, right? Now we talk about second order. Second order was sold the same day. Second order customer C2 came, right? And his name was Leo, right? He lives on lane 2. He also purchased an iPhone and the same supplier is delivering it. Then third order was sold on the same day. Customer ID is C3. His name is Jack. He lives on lane 3 and he also purchased an iPhone, right? Then the fourth order was sold the next day. The customer C1 comes back, right? His name is Sam, lives on lane 1 and he purchased a charger this time. And what we did was we come over here and we paid 2,000 for that, and the same supplier is delivering the charger as well, right? So if I ask you the way this data is getting managed, do you have any thoughts about it? The way the data is getting stored, is it okay, or we have some issues in this? Yep. Duplicated data, right? So we can see from here, so what is happening over here is the file in this, maybe the data is correct, right? The way the data is managed, the data is fine, right? But the problem that we have over here is there is a lot of duplication over here, right? There was a lot of duplicacy that we have in this data. So if you notice over here, right, I am storing iPhone again and again, ABC Mobiles again and again, right? So now technically if we see over here, right, so if I keep storing the same data again and again, that will lead to the wastage of memory, right? Memory will be wasted. Plus, if the memory is wasted, then what will happen is the performance of the system will go down, right? The performance will go down. So that's where what I can actually do is I can make separate tables. So for example, I make a customer table, right? I make a customer table, and over here what I can do is I can save only the customer details, and over here I don't need any duplicacy, right? I can save customer ID, name and address over here, right? And now if I come over here in this case, right, If you come over here right now, I don't need customer name and address in this over here now. If I say shift the cells to the left, so there it is, right? Similarly, so now if you see, I need to meet customer ID, name and address over here. I don't need to keep name in this. Okay. Now similarly, I can make another table where I can keep product ID and product name. Right over here also, I don't need to keep the duplicate data. Right. So this can be removed from here again. Okay, and same thing will happen for the supplier table as well. So I can make a supplier table, right? So again, over here, I don't need this information over here. Okay. So now if you see over here in this table, so can I say that with the help of while making the small chunks of table, it has helped us to reduce the data size. And somewhere what is happening is these tables are also linked to each other, right? These tables are also linked to each other. So if I just come up over here, I can see supplier ID to supplier ID, there is a common field, right? From product ID to product ID, there is a common field. From customer ID to customer ID, also there is a common field, right? So we have the fields which are connecting these tables to each other even after splitting the data. Now, is it possible that we have something like, if I add this order over here, order number 5, and I say I sold a new order. Okay, I sold a new order which was purchased by customer C5 and he purchased P1 and he paid 30,000 for that, and S1 is delivering it. This information that I have added, everyone, is this information okay? Is this data correct over here? No. See, this data is not correct. See, who is C5? We don't know. Right? If I save this information, so what will happen is that over here, first of all, C5 should be added over here. His name is, say, suppose Jerry, and he lives on lane 4. So typically his data should be first added over here and then it should be added over here. Am I right? First the data should be added over here and then the data should be added over here. Correct? So then only the data will make sense. So that's why, if you all know that when you buy something on Amazon, so when you are going for the first time, it asks you to create your account. It asks you to create the account because when you create your account, your data is saved in this table, and when you keep on buying the items, your information is saved over here in this table. Correct? Now this entire stuff that I have explained you right now over here is something what we are going to now implement in the Power BI. Okay, so I'll share one Google Drive link also with you guys. You can download this file. Right, I'm just putting it in the chat. Can you please all download this data once? This file is an Excel file. Please download this up. Let me know once you're able to download this file. Done? All right. See, if you all will take a look on this data right now, let me just share my screen. Oh, sorry. So if you all will take a look on this data over here right now, see, in this file there are 4 sheets, and it's exactly in the same fashion the way we were discussing the things over here right now. See, I have a customer data in which I have customer ID and customer name. I have product data in which I have the product ID and that product belongs to which category, which subcategory, and what's the name of the product, right? And then we have the third sheet, region data. Here you have the country, city, state, postal code and region of that, right? And you have fact sales. In the fact sales, we are mentioning or we are capturing the transactional data. What items we sold, right? What order we sold, what was the customer ID who purchased it, what was the product ID who purchased it, or what was the product ID that was purchased, right? Similarly, sales value and everything. So if I come in the Power BI right now, okay, so you can all please open a fresh new Power BI file. Okay, so what we will do is, first of all, we'll make a connection to that Excel file. So we'll come to the Excel file and we'll choose that data modeling file right now. So please, you can all please do it up with me. and I will select customer data, fact sales, product data, region data. Right now, when I was explaining you this concept over here of this, the data modeling in this, see what happen is when we talk about data modeling. So, there is a concept of relationships, right? There are 4 type of relationships that you have: one to one, one to many, many to one, and many to many. These are the 4 type of relationships that you have. Okay. Now, when I talk about one to one, so basically, if suppose I have a table where I have ID and name, and I have ID and age, right? I am saying ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. Name is A, B, C, and D. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Age is given to me 21, 22, 23, 24. See, if you take a look on this table right now, if you take a look on this, so what I see over here in this case right now over here is that, in this table also every ID is present once, and over here also every ID is present once. So this is like one-to-one relationship, right? This is one-to-one relationship. If, for example, if I have the data over here like this, and I have ID and subject, I am saying the person whose ID is 1, 2, 3, one is studying Excel, SQL, Excel, Power BI, Excel, SQL. Now see, I can see from here that one individual, one person is kind of studying 2 subjects, right? One person is studying 2 subjects, that is many subjects. Over here ID is coming once, over here the ID is coming many times. So this is called as one to many. This is called a one to many relationship. Okay. And if suppose, and one to many and many to one are same actually. So if you are looking in this direction, you are looking this way, it is like one to many, this is many to one. So which table you are using as first? If you use this table as first, that becomes many to one. If you use this table as first, this becomes one to many. And similarly, if the information is something like this, this data is here and I have ID and address, right? So if I say 112233, I'm seeing this person lives in hostel, right? This person is from India. This person also lives in hostel and is from US, India, and lives from UK. Now you see in this table also every ID is coming multiple times, and here also it's coming multiple times. So this will called as many to many. So this relationship is called as many to many. Is it clear? So 4 type of relationships. Are you clear on this? Bhumi, no. So you can't do it online. You will need a software Power BI desktop to be installed on your machines. Okay. Now let's come to the Power BI file and let's try to do it up. See, the data is loaded, so I will load all the 4 sheets in one go. Okay, you can see all the 4 tables are loaded in Power BI, right? Now when I'm over here in the Power BI, now the thing that I will do is, you will see there's an option of over here modeling. Now if you click on modeling, this is where that relationship that I was talking about, right? This relationship that I was talking about, we actually set them up over here. We set the relationships over here. There are 4 tables in this, right? Now you will notice over here you will see the headers only of the data, right? If you want to see the data, you will go in the data view and you can see customer data, fact sales, product data. So you can see product data headers are not coming fine, right? Customer data also headers are not coming fine. So that means this data needs some data cleansing, right? That means this data needs some data cleansing, right? So what will I do? I'll go into the home tab, and if I say transform data, so what I will do, I will say customer data, I will say use first row as headers, right? I will say use first row as headers, and then I will say remove blank rows. See, there are some blank rows also in this data. So I go in the fact sales. Let me just remove blank rows from here also. I'll go to the product data and I will say use first row as header. And let me apply remove blank rows over here also. See, that is just a part of data cleansing that we generally do. Right? So if I say remove blank rows, and then I will say this as this is fine. Now if you see, the data is totally fine over here now. And now if I click on close and apply, so little bit of data cleansing was required because the headers were not coming fine. So this happens every time, guys, when you work with the data. So data will have its own challenges or issues. See, you will see now. So if you come over here, you can notice the data model is created, but region data is not connected. See, now Power BI is smart enough. It is able to identify what is the common field between the tables. See, between fact sales and customer data, the common field is customer ID, right? The same thing that we saw in Excel, same thing that we learned in that we were seeing in Excel, right? You need to have a common field. Now, because the field name was same, so Power BI has automatically identified that relationship. Now, similarly, product ID to product ID, the common field is here. It has identified that relationship, correct? And now if I come, what is the common field between region data and fact sales, everyone? What's the common field between region data and fact sales? Postal code, perfect. See, if I pick postal code from here and I just drag it on the postal code over here, you will see the relationship will be created. So that's how, the relationships are something which are created between the tables. Now, I told you that there are 4 type of relationships that we have, right? So there are 4 type of relationships that we have. So if I show you something, right, see what happened is, you see it's written 1 over here. See, it's written 1 over here and there is a star over here. So this is one to many relationship, right? What is this? This is one to many. Okay, that means product ID is present once over here and many times over here. Product ID is present once over here and many times over here. So that makes it a one to many relationship. Correct? That makes it a one to many relationship. Now, if you come over here, if you just click on manage relationships also over here, you can see the relationships from here also. Like for example, we have a relationship between customer table and fact table, right? If I click and say edit. So over here also Power BI will show you that the common field is customer ID. It is grayed out and it's telling you that the relationship is many to one. Okay, the relationship is many to one. Right? So if I click on OK now, so you can see the relationship there now. Now the benefit of this is, if I go to this view, if I want to make some charts, like for example, I want to analyze how the sales happened across the different years, right? Or maybe I want to see how the sales happened across the different regions. So if I make a chart, suppose I pick a column chart, and I bring region from the region table, and sales from the fact sales, right? So you can see the chart is ready, right? Are you clear on this, guys? Any questions over here? So Primita, what if there are more than one field? See, if you have more than one field, see, relationship is always created by the one common field only, right? Relationship is something which you create by one column. Other relationship that you will create, that will become inactive, right? And in order to use the inactive relationship, we will have to use the concept of DAX, okay? But as of one relationship can be like one active relationship only, all right? Now over here, guys, when I was making a data model, right? When I was making a data model over here, okay? Now in this data model over here, you will see there is one concept of arrow. You see the arrows are going from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. Now what does this arrow signify in this data model? See, this arrow signify that you can pick up the field from here and summarize from here. That's the direction. You can pick something from here and summarize from here. Okay. Now what happens over here is that when you have these directions over here right now, these arrows that are there, okay? So what I can do is, with these arrows, if I try to make a chart, right? Suppose I make a table. I am picking, see, I am trying to do the things opposite way. Suppose I pick something from here and I do the calculation from here, right? See, technically in this data, if I tell you, just to understand from the data point of view, see, in this data, you know, we have three categories. If I'll show you, in the data, we have three categories. Furniture, four categories. Furniture, new category, office supplies, technology. There are four categories. One product can belong to only one category. Okay, one product can belong to only one category. Now, in this case, if suppose, right, if suppose I have this data with me, now I know that one product belongs to one category, right? One product can belong to only one category. But what if I go in the fact sales? What if I go in the fact sales and I pick up product ID from the fact sales and I say, let me count one product belongs to how many categories, and I say count distinct. See, my output will say that one product belongs to four categories. Now the output is coming, one product belongs to four categories, right? Because I have picked up the product ID from here and I'm counting from here. That is, I'm going against the direction. Now, when you will go against the direction, Power BI cannot do the calculation. You will notice Power BI just can't do the calculation. So what I can do, what I will do over here is, if I double click on this line, on this, then the complete relationship window opens up. I will come over here and I will change the cross filter direction to both. And if I click OK, see, now Power BI can do the calculation in both directions. Now you will see the result will change. See, now it's saying one product belongs to one category and total there are four categories. Now your result has got corrected out. Does it make sense to all of you? What I've done in this? You know, this is very important part. Basically, many times, you know, people are not aware of this, and due to which the calculations are sometimes shown as wrong. Okay. But now the question that might come to your mind, that so you might be thinking that, okay, I mean, so should we keep it by default as both, right? If you feel like then should I keep directly or should I keep both of them by default as both? See, the output for that is going to be no. I mean, the answer for that is going to be no. If you will keep this direction both by default, it is going to impact the performance of the Power BI, right? It will impact the performance of the Power BI. Okay. So wherever it is required, only there you should change the directions, not like everywhere. All right. Now, if you see right now, this is where the data model has been completed. Now, you know, if I want, right, this data model could have been further split also, like, you know, in this product data table, I have the product ID, category, subcategory, all are given to me in the one case. So in this case, if I want, I can actually break the data for a different table of category also, but right now we will not do it. So that will just need little more understanding on the Power Query side, right? So right now I'll keep the things as same. Now with this data model, let's make some of the charts and create some visualizations. So like over here, I was trying to showcase how the sales happened across the regions. Let's make a chart, a time series analysis. I would like to understand how the sales happened over the different years. So what I do, if I pick up the field of order date, put it on the x-axis, I pick up the field of sales, put it on the y-axis, you will see this chart is created where we can see the sales over here for the different years and months. Okay, let me make a chart. So when you make a time series analysis, so Power BI, what it does, it gives you an option of hierarchy, right? Like I can click on this option, take the chart from year to quarter, quarter to month, month to day, right? And if I drill it up, the chart will drill up. Okay, all right. Now let me add a pie chart as well to show the sales by segment. I bring the sales in the values and I'll bring segment in the columns, and I will add a card over here to showcase total sales. That's it, right? So I have made a small report over here, and I will save this up. So now I've saved this file. Now what I can do over here is this report that I have created, I will be publishing this report so that this report can be shared with the audience. So for that, what happen is we need Power BI service. Okay, so now if I come over here, I have saved this file. Let me publish this. So how do I publish it? If I click over here on the publish, I publish it in my workspace. The report is getting published, and there it is. So if I click on this link, right, so you will see the report is published, and now the report can be opened up over here on the Power BI service domain. See, we have done data modeling, we have done some data cleansing, made some charts, and published this report. So I'll wait for a second, guys, if you have any questions and if you're making it up. Okay, now see what happens is if you have to share this report, so you can click on the share icon and you can put the email address of that person and the report can be shared with them, right? So if I say send, the report will be shared to them. On top of that, if you want to edit the report, you can click on the edit button and the report can be edited over here as well. Okay, so you can edit the report over here also. Okay. Now see, when you publish the report, see what happens in that case is there are two things that are published. One is report, second is data set. See, if I'll show you, when the report is published, you will see this option of My Workspace. My Workspace is your personal folder where we published this report. So if I click over here on My Workspace, right, I will be able to see the list of all the reports that were published over here. Right, I'll be able to see the list of all the reports that have been published. See, the latest report that I've just published over here, that is this. Right, if I come over here, this is the report, it's written also report, and this is the data set. Now what happened is, if in case this report that you have published, right, the first thing is you want to set up an automatic refresh. If you want to set up an automatic refresh of the report, right, how does that happen? See, automatic refresh means that without any manual intervention, Power BI should keep refreshing the data as new data is loaded. So basically, if you see right now, what is the scenario? The data is something which is kept over here on my laptop. Okay, Excel file is over here. Report is published and saved on the cloud. I want that whenever I update the data, this data should automatically go over here, and the report that I have kept over here, that should get automatically updated with the latest data. Right? That's the setup that I want. So that means the cloud should come to my system, take the data and update the report. Now, how does that happen? For that, we need gateways. We need gateways, right? We need data gateways. So you have to install this data gateway on your machine in order to have this setup. So how do you install it? You just click over here on download option and you will see data gateway. Okay. Now when you come to this link, there are two types of gateways you will find. One is personal mode, one is standard mode. See, in case the data is sitting on your personal machine, right? In case the data is sitting on your personal machine, you will have to download this setup. If the data is sitting on a server, you have to use this setup, right? So in our case, in my case, like the data is on the personal machine, so we will have to use this option over here of the personal mode. Okay, so now this is already installed on my system. So this is already installed. So as a result of which, what will happen is, if I will click on the data set and I will say schedule refresh, right, over here you will see gateway connections. See, gateway is already installed on my machine. It is up and running. So when you download and install this gateway, guys, it's very simple. When you will download and install this, it will just ask you for your Power BI ID password. That's it. Okay, it will just ask you for your Power BI ID password. That's it. And then it will start showing automatically that the application is up and running. Then you just have to click on data source credentials, edit credentials, and you will say sign in. It's just like authenticating. It's like authenticating Power BI service to access your machine. You do this up. Okay. Then you click on the refresh and you will say you want to keep your data up to date and you have to set up the time. I am saying that every day what should happen is at 5 p.m. my data should get automatically refreshed. That's it. Now an automatic schedule has been applied. So now what Power BI will do, it will keep on refreshing your data automatically as the new, every day at 5 p.m. as the new data is loaded, right? So without any manual, so you only have to ensure that your laptop should be on at 5 p.m. and it should be connected to the internet. That's the thing that you have to ensure. Since all of you, yes, Power BI allows forecasting as well. We can time series forecasting we can do. And Ashwin, can we drill up or down that you can do it. I mean, if you will come over here. So if I go back to that, my setup is done. If I go back to my workspace and I open that report, right, develop will work over here. See, for the end user also, they will have this feature. They can take it to the focus mode also. All those features will be there. Make sense? I hope this was the question, right, Ashwin? Perfect. Yes, I'll take a pause for a minute. Let me know if you have any questions or queries on the things that we have discussed till here. Any part that you feel you have any questions, data modeling, right, visualization and publishing the report and setting up the data gateway refresh. Okay. And guys, please, share your feedbacks as well, right? So that will just help us to get better with the planning and everything. All right. So now coming back, now see on this report. See now in Power BI, what happened is, one is called as report. One thing is report, that you can create a report. On top of the report, what you can do is you can create a dashboard. See, what is dashboard? Dashboard is nothing. it's more like, creating a small kind of a summary inside. If your boss says that you have created a very detailed report where there are multiple charts. Now your boss says, okay, Amit, can you give me just couple of important charts in one view? In case I want to see the detailed analysis, I will go to the report. So that's where what we can do is actually, we can create a dashboard. Say like, for example, if I hover on this chart, you will see this icon will come, pin visual. If I click on pin visual, it will ask me, do you want to create a new dashboard? Yes. Let's call it as a webinar dashboard. And I will say pin. See, a dashboard is created. If I go to the dashboard, that dashboard right now has only one chart. And if I click on this chart, it will take me to the report. Try it once. Okay. Now, similarly, I want that this card also, I will say pin visual, and I will put it on that webinar dashboard and pin it. Now, see, now that dashboard has two charts, right? Now this dashboard has two charts that I've shared with him. All right. Now, see, the benefit over here is the benefit of this card visual is on the dashboard. See, now this feature is available only on the dashboard. So if I hover on this card, if I click on the three dots, what I can do is I can set up some alerts. Alert is like I am saying that if the sale goes above a certain value or below a certain value, so what should happen is an automatic email should be sent to me, right? An automatic email should be sent to me. So if I will say add alert rule, I will say my alert is total sales. I am saying if my sales go above 2.3 million, right? I am putting the number as suppose, 2.3 million. And I say save and close. So what will happen now is, suppose if the data is refreshed and the sale has gone above 2.3 million, automatically Power BI will send me an email that your sale has gone above 2.3 million, right? That's what the use case of Power BI this alert is. I hope this is clear to all of you. Yes, Ashwin, you can refresh this data manually also. So like if you come over here, like see manually is, one is you will have to refresh the data over here. In the Power BI desktop, you will say refresh. Now the data will be refreshed and then you have to republish it, which can be a little tedious task. Okay, that will be a little tedious task. So instead, and if you have already set up a gateway, if the gateway is there, and now you realize somewhere in the middle of the day that the data needs to be refreshed, you can go to the workspace where your file is placed. On the data set over here, you will see there is an option of refresh that you will see. If I come and click over here, refresh, it will refresh the data for you. Right, this will refresh the data for you. Right, see it's refreshing the data, and in just a while the data will be refreshed. Right, so that's also is possible. So anywhere you're more comfortable, you can refresh the data. Yes, Mario. So you can connect your Power BI to any number of data sources any data source you want. So when you load the data, see in fact if you click on get data, you will see the list of all the data sources to which Power BI can be connected. Right? Your data is in text file, SharePoint, SQL Server, IBM DB2, right? PostgreSQL, SAP HANA, whatever your data sources, you can connect it to. But please remember one thing, that some of the data sources need some connectors, right? Like basically when you talk about SAP. So for example, this is your SAP and this is your Power BI. So Power BI has all the things to get connected, but SAP doesn't allow direct any tool to access the data from its source. So you have to sometime download some connectors because of that SAP system. That's one thing will be required. Okay. Samir, can you please show again the address for auto refresh? That is here. I mean that once you go over there in your Power BI service, you come to your My Workspace. Here you will see your data set name. On the data set, see, please, you will see two files by the same name. One is report, one is data set. You have to hover on data set, and over here you will say schedule refresh. That's where you will land up to that page, okay, where you set up all the things, refresh time, data gateway connections and everything. All right. Sure, Bhumi, I'll show you with the SQL Server also. That's also one click only. I'll show you that up. All right. See, now, what happened is data is something critical, right? Data is something which is very critical. Now, like for example, if I let me add a slicer over here, let's add a slicer. See, slicer is to slice or dice the data. Let me add a slicer of region. Now, every region has one manager, right? Every region is having a manager. I am saying that when I share this file with the manager of East region, right? When I share this file with the manager of East region, what should happen is to him only the data of East should be visible, right? If I'm sharing this report with the manager of East region, to him only the data of East region should be visible, not the entire data. This concept is called as row level security. Right? This concept is called as row level security. Okay. In this row level security, you can create the roles, and depending upon what role you have given to a user, only that data will be visible to him, right? Like for example, when you have your attendance data, see, when you open your attendance data, only your data is visible to you. When your manager opens, he can see your data also, his data also. And when manager's manager open it up, he can see the data of your manager plus the other team members also. It's like the access. All right. So that's what I'm trying to do over here. So I am saying, if I share this report with the manager of East region, to him only the data of East should be visible and not anything else. So for that, first of all, I will have to click over here on modeling. I will click over here on modeling, and I will say I would like to create roles. I will say manage roles, and I will create a new role. Let me call it as East, and I will say just a filter. Add a filter of region equal to East. That's what we will do. Okay. I will create another role. Let's call it as West, and I will say where region equal to West, and I click on save. So I have created my two roles. Okay. Now when you have created the two roles, you can test them. If I say view as East and OK. See, if I will share this report with the East manager, to him only this will be visible. If I say view as West, now the data will be visible to that person like this, right? Now what I'll do, let me publish this file again. Okay. And if I say open this report, now see this report, right now you will not see any difference over here. Right now you will not see much difference over here. Okay. Now the report is published. Any questions till this point, all of you? Let me know. I'll wait for a second. Okay. Now the roles that you have created, how do you assign them? If you go to the workspace, and over here you will go to your data set, right? And if I say schedule refresh, oh sorry, if you come over on three dots and you say security, you will see the option of security, and you will see two roles. So my user one, he is like the manager of East region, I will add his name to the east and I will save it. And to the west, I am saying user2, add and save. Now, when the user1 and user2, they will open the report, they will actually see the data of east and west region only. All right, that's how this is done. Yes, Ashwin. See, it is like the reason you have to publish it, it's just like this. So just assume, right? Like for example, you have clicked a picture on your phone, right? You have clicked the picture on your phone. Now you want to share it with your friends. So you will maybe, you will upload that photo on the Facebook, right? But now if you make a change on your photo in your phone, it will not automatically reflect over here. You will have to re-upload that. So that's why you have to, whatever changes you do over here, you have to re-upload it, right? But if you apply any filter of the Facebook on the Facebook itself, then you don't need to re-upload anything, because that is the things that are happening directly over the cloud only. So that's the same concept that you have over here. When you're using the Power BI desktop, that's a file on your local machine. Yes. So Suresh, so that is right. So the person who will publish, the developer will have the rights to change the security. Okay. Heading is this. So when the report that you have created, so when you open any of the report, this is where you have the share button. You click on share and put the ID or name of that. Okay. If I say user1, that's it. Now the person will receive an email that a report has been shared with you. But the only thing we have to ensure is that person should also have that BC. The person should also have the the Power BI account, right? No, publish will save the file on the cloud. Publishing will save the file on the cloud. It doesn't save it. See, if you have done something, see, if you make some changes over here, if I add something over here, I can't publish it without saving. See, if I click on publish, it will ask me to save the file. Once the file is saved, then it starts publishing it. Okay, publishing happens only after saving the file. Whatever work you have done, you have to save it. Got it? So now, right? So this is how you manage your Power BI service, right? Row level security, data refresh, and alerts. Now, like for example, many a times it happens that, if I am over here right now on the Power BI service, I am saying that over here, I want to create my own workspace. If I come over here, workspaces. So it's like, you can create your new workspaces. Workspaces like, you can create the group, right? Like the question was there that, if I want that, if I share this file with you, see, right now I can only change it. You can't change it. But in case if I want that you should also be able to change that file, so, you have to actually create the workspaces. If I create this workspace, then what I do is I can add people in this, right? I can add people over here. Suppose I add user1 over here. It's like a like a WhatsApp group that you have. I've added these people. Now, whomsoever is added in this group, now when I publish this report, now this time, if I will publish this report, I will publish it in the webinar workspace. Now the people who are added in that workspace, they will automatically be able to see the report and they can edit the report as well, right? The people who are added in that workspace, they will be able to edit the report also. Okay. So workspace is something which allows collaboration. Okay. Yeah, Samir, see, in that case, the data has to be on the server. If the data is on the server, then they can add it. But suppose the data is in your machine, that person cannot add the data, right? Because the data is in your machine, he needs to access your machine and then add the data, right? But yes, if the data is on some SQL server and all, then he can do it. So like, for example, I'll show you the question being asked. See, if I open a new file, suppose I want to load the data from SQL server. Okay. So if you want to load the data from SQL server, you just have to click on SQL server option. So when you click on this option, you put the server name. I'm saying the server name is my local machine. And if you click on OK, actually my server name is different. dot backslash SQL Express. This is the name of my server. So for connecting to the SQL server, you just have to put the name of your server. See, you will get the list of all the databases and you want to select the data set, orders table and load. See, that's how the data has come up from the SQL server. Right? So that's how you make the connections with the SQL server. Now everything remains the same. Creation of the charts, data modeling, data cleansing. Once the data is in the Power BI interface, now everything belongs to Power BI now. Now nothing is different. Okay, right guys? So this is majorly, what we have as the topics to cover. So I would like to open the room for any questions if you may have. I would be happy to answer them. Yes, Samir, we can do that up. You want to make a live connection. See, live connection is something which is possible not with every data source. It is only available with SSAS, right? SQL Server Analysis Services. But yes, you have a feature of direct query in Power BI if the data is coming from SQL Server and if you choose the direct query option. So your data can be refreshed every 15 minutes. So you will have 15 minutes old data, but Power BI will keep refreshing the data every 15 minutes. Okay. Yes, Mario. So, for that you have to use the Power BI report server, right? Power BI report server was something where you can set up your own servers where Power BI reports can be published, right? So there you can create your own production and QA or developer environments, whatever you need, right? So that is anyhow free of cost also. If you have a SQL Server license with you with the software assurance, then you can use that up, right? Yep. So you can explore that up, Power BI report server. And for that, Power BI application is also different. You have to use Power BI desktop optimized version. Okay, so if I show you the link as well, this is where you will find it. If I say this is what you are looking out for. This is the one, right? Power BI report server. So this is where you can just make the things at your end, and you also have the flexibility that if you want to move the things to the cloud, you can do that, right? But it is the on-premises solution for your reporting. Perfect, guys. Any other question, anyone? All right, great, guys. So please do share your feedbacks, right? That will help us. And yep, that's all for today. Thanks, everyone.